Right, so let's continue again as we look at some more simplification, concepts that are going to be coming in your paper 2, mathematics, that is ECZ. If you are writing in July, August, then you do well to, go through such concept because such concept will come. Now, if you remember in my previous videos that I started under algebra, I did look at factorization. And most of the questions that they bring like this, you need to carry out, use the concept of factorization. Especially, you can be using the difference of two squares, maybe factorization by common terms or by grouping, and that is what you are going to do there. So let's see how you can go about that if they give you such expressions. So A, it says we simplify, m raised to the power 2 minus 1 over m raised to the power 2 minus 1. Now, I'll be doing them separately, then try to put them. Remember, let's take the term that is on top there. If you have m raised to the power 2 minus 1, you can use the difference of two squares to actually factorize that, because 1 can be written as 1 raised to the power 2. It's a square number. So therefore, using the difference of two squares, if you have forgotten, I said if you have got a squared minus b squared, then it can be a plus b, and you can again get, but in the second, so in one bracket positive, in the other one you're supposed to have a negative. So we can use the difference of two squares there, which is going to be m plus 1, and that is going to be m minus 1. And that's what we do. So meaning on top, when I factorize, I'm going to have this expression. What about the bottom? Well, the bottom says, let me use a different marker so that you're able to see. I've got m raised to the power 2 minus m. You can again factorize. What is common there? M is common. When I divide m there, I'll remain with m. And there, when I divide m, I'll remain with 1. So meaning at the bottom, this is what you're going to put up. So now we are going to replace the top part. I will replace with that. So it is going to be m plus 1 and m minus 1, because you have actually factorized that, over, in this case at the bottom there, of m and m minus 1. So that's what you do. You are going to use concept of factorization. Then you can cancel out. Do you see anything that is common on top and at the bottom, at the numerator and the denominator? Yes, there's something there. I have m minus 1, so this will cancel with that. So what have I remained with on top? I've remained with m plus 1 over, what have I remained with at the bottom is m. Please don't be tempted to say this and that cancels, then you remain with 1. No, this is together, so you cannot easily cancel that. So this is actually our answer that we have. So we have simplified, such an expression. All right, so that is what we mean. Let's move on to the B part. Like I said, when you find such expressions in the exam, in most cases you need to apply factorization concept. Let's look at the B part there. It says 2x raised to the power 2 minus 8 over x plus 2. So if you find that, we can work out that one on top. Remember, it is 2x squared minus 8. Let's work out and factorize. What is common? It is 2. When I divide 2 there, I'll remain with x squared there. I'll remain with minus 4 there. So that is what you're going to have. Now, you can go further. What is in the bracket? We can use the difference of two squares, because 4 is a square number that can be written as 2 raised to the power 2. So 2x squared minus 2 raised to the power 2. So it will be 2 x, using in the bracket we use the difference of two squares, x plus 2, then the other one x minus 2. So this is what the expression that we have. So on top, we can replace it with that expression. So therefore on top, there, when I factorize, I'll replace it with that. It will be 2x plus 2 and x minus 2 there, over, x plus 2. Then try to see. Remember, the question says we simplify. Is there anything that can cancel at the bottom and at the top? Yes, there's actually something. I've got x plus 2. This will cancel with this x plus 2. So on top, I'll remain with 2 multiplied by x minus 2 over. At the bottom here, I've remained with 1. 1 into that will just give me 2x minus 2. So it simply means you have actually simplified you have actually simplified that. So that is what we mean there. So you can end it actually there. So it simply means you have actually simplified it. All right, so that is what we mean. Okay, let's move on to the C part and see how you can again do it. So the C part there, forgive my arrangement, my C part is actually there. It says x minus 1 over x squared minus 1. Remember at the top you can't factorize that, but at the bottom, yes, I can actually factorize that one. It is x squared minus 1. Remember 1 is a square number. Remember I said a square number is a number that can be written in the form n raised to the power 2. So any number that can be written like that is what we are calling as a square number. 1 raised to the power 2 is 1, 2 raised to the power 2 is 4, 3 raised to the power 2 is 9. So these numbers that you're seeing here are square numbers. So 1 is a square number that can be written as 1 raised to the power 2. So using the difference of two squares, it will give me x plus 1 and in the other x minus 1. Please, if you didn't watch my videos under factorization, you can fall back and actually rewatch them so that you get more concept. So meaning the bottom part can be replaced by that. So it will be x minus 1 over the bottom part will be x plus 1 and again x minus 1. Now, is there anything that you can cancel out at the bottom and the top? The answer is yes. I have x minus 1 and x minus. So x minus 1 there is 1, x minus 1 there is 1. Please don't be tempted, because some people right here, they'll be tempted and they just say the answer is x plus 1. That is wrong. Why? Because on top you have a 1 over 1 times this will give you x plus 1. So you can't say it will reduce to x plus 1. This is wrong. So the answer should be 1 over x plus 1. There's no problem. So that is the answer that you're going to have when you simplify that. Right, let's look at, let's try to look at the D part. Let's quickly try to look at the D part there. So for the D part that I have there, it says, the D part there says that 6x, let me just write that properly, 6x squared, let me just, again, 6x squared minus 24 over x minus 2. What I see on top, I can actually, factorize that one on top. So when I factorize that one, let's do it this side. How is it going to be? So what is common there? 6 is common. When I divide 6 that side, what will remain? 6 there will remain with x squared. 6 into 24 goes there 4 times. Remember, 4 is a square number. Therefore, you can say x squared minus 4 can be written as 2 raised to the power 2. So what is in the bracket? I can use difference of 2 squares. So it will be 6. It will be x plus 2, and in the other bracket, x minus 2. So this, I'll replace it on top now there because I factorized the top part. So it is going to be 6x plus 2, x plus 2, then x minus 2 there, over there you have got it's x minus 2. Then you try to see, is anything that can cancel out? The answer is again yes. There's something of x minus 2 over x minus 2. So there to give me a 1, there to give me a 1. So what am I remaining with on top there? I have a 6 multiplied times this times 1, so it will be 6 multiplied by x plus 2. What have I remained with at the bottom? It's 1. Can 1 go into that? Yes, it will still give me 6x plus 2. So this is the final answer that you have there. So that is what we mean. You have simplified that. Right, I want you to pay attention when it comes to the E part, and let's try to see how you can do that. So for the E part there, when I look at the E part there, it says b minus a over a squared minus b squared. So of course, when I look at such an expression there, the top part I cannot factorize, so I'll work with the bottom part. It's easy. A raised to the power 2 and b raised to the power 2. Remember, that's the difference of two squares. So it will be a plus b in the one bracket and a minus b in the other bracket. So when I look at that, the top part is simply b minus a over the bottom part. When I factorize, it has given me this, so I'll substitute with a plus b and a minus b. That's what I mean. Is there anything that can cancel there? But the answer is no. This is b minus a. You can't say it is the same as a minus b. So what you do when you find such a situation, you introduce a negative. So introduce a negative. So we are going to introduce a negative there. So now when you introduce a negative, it's like negative multiplied by b minus a. Let's see, check the top. Negative times that will give you negative b. Negative times negative a will give you a positive a. So this is the same as writing a minus b. You get that? So the moment you introduce a negative, it simply means now this and that can now cancel out. So this there 1 and this there will be 1. But remember, maintain that negative. So it will be negative. On top I've remained with 1 over at the bottom of a plus b. So this is basically the answer that you're going to have there. So please pay attention when you find introduce a negative. That negative changes it like this. So therefore this and that will cancel, but still maintain that negative there. That's what we mean. So it's easy. It's not complicated. Right, let's conclude with our last one that we have there, which is part F there. This came from, I think, a more recent 2024, ECZ, paper 2 question. So they gave you, x raised to the power 3 minus 9x over x plus 3. You can see the bottom part cannot be factorized, so we are working with the top part. So I'll get the top part, x to the power 3 minus 9x. What is common? X is common. When I divide x, there I'll remain with x squared minus there I'll remain with 9. 9 is a square number that can be written as 3 raised to the power 2. So you can further factorize that by using difference of 2 squared to be x plus 3 and x minus 3. So this I'm now going to substitute to the top part because I factorized the top part. It has given me this. So it will be x, then x plus 3, then x minus 3 over the bottom part is x plus 3. Is there anything that can cancel? Yes, this and that will cancel. That will be a 1, a 1. So it will be x times 1 is x times that will give me x minus 3 over at the bottom. I've remained with the 1. 1 into that will just give you x minus 3. So this is what you have there, and that is your answer. Well, thank you so much for watching my videos. Watch out for more simplification as they appear in your paper 2.